Everyone, it's me. Listen, I don't know if you can see this going on behind me. I've put it up on the telly for you guys so that I can sort of commentate over this. But this is live on Rupley, RT, on YouTube. This is going on right now in London, all around Whitehall. You know, I swear down now, this shit is batshit crazy. We've literally got the football lads, some of the EDL. We've also got a hell of a lot of veterans there, and they're all trying to protect the statues and the monuments surrounding London. And basically, BLM and Antifa have met them there. So up to press. I mean, you can see the little bit of smoke, sort of. I mean, it's mainly gone now, but they were throwing fireworks. They were throwing all sorts. Projectiles, you name it, and it was absolutely crazy. It was crazy. I mean, this has been going on now for about 3 hours, and the sheer amount of people there is unbelievable. We've even got word that the police are stopping people even getting into London on the M1. It's that bad. But I suppose in a way, the good thing about this was when they all first sort of started meeting up and gathering, what the police did was they put a barrier surrounding the cenotaph, stop it. So you basically got BLM and Antifa on one side, and then you got the footy lads and the veterans on the other side. And the police put like a big barricade, 2 barricades, you know. So if you think of the setup they kind of used, if you think of like World War One, where you've got the trench, then no man's land in between, the entire space between the barricade for BLM and Antifa, and then the barricade for the footy lads, and then the cenotaph in the middle, that was like no man's land in between. It absolutely batshit crazy, and they've all been shouting at each other and screaming at each other, and more people seem to keep showing up. You know, I've heard reports from a lot of people that have left their cars on the M1 and actually walked into London. This is crazy. But anyway, I'm going to leave this on in the background. I just want to take you guys through a few things that's been going on that's absolutely crazy, that's been coming out just lately. Oh, don't forget also, you know, we've got the new vids that are out today, which are discussion that me and Star Lordess had. Yes, I've got Star Lordess. We've both posted the videos on each other's channels. It's currently uploading to my channel at the minute, if you can sort of see here. But anyway, I just want to sort of show you guys a few things that we've been seeing coming out. Okay, so this here, Dr. Tedros. This is one of the top guys in the WHO, in the World Health Organization. This guy's not right in the head. I'm just going to show you this. Let's put the sound on. Yeah, a little bit frigging cray-cray, that one, isn't it? It really is. I mean, seriously though, like, I'm a little bit speechless, if I'm honest. I mean, I expect nothing less, I suppose, but I just thought you guys needed to see exactly what kind of people are running our organisations in the world, I guess. Yeah, so moving on. I want everyone to see this video. Now, it is old, it's from 2016, but the thing is, the reason why everybody needs to see it is because Candace Owens proves an amazing point about how racial tensions are continually brought up during election years. I just want you to listen, okay? Just listen. Where's my volume?
I just have to say that I object strenuously to your use of the word hilarious. To me, this feels a lot like your reaction to being named in one of these manifestos. Now, you're, of course, not responsible for the words of somebody writing that document. But I do think that laughing at it is a real problem, because these are real families that are impacted by this violence. And I think our efforts towards talking about this have to start from...
Look at Candace's face. She's like, what the fuck is this stupid leftist saying?
Now, The reason we don't have those numbers, I want those numbers as much as you do. But to say the numbers don't show something is just simply not supported by the data.
Okay, and I have 38 seconds left, Ms. Mulligan, if you want to respond within that time.
The only thing I would add is that it's in the name. Terrorism, domestic terrorism, it terrorizes us. It terrorizes us in our homes. It terrorizes us in our schools. And to the points made by the other panelists, it is disproportionate to its impact on any individual life. And it's not.
You reject the idea it's something that doesn't matter, or it doesn't really matter?
Absolutely reject.
Okay. All right, so here's where we are. Every member now has had 5 minutes and... Okay, and Mr. Clay, so we have 2 members who have not. So I'm going to go to the 2 members who have not yet, and we'll give an opportunity for a closing thought to any member who wants before we go.
Am I next responder is Mr. Meadows?
I thought Mr. Meadows was
Mr.
next.
Meadows, okay.
Mr. Meadows is next, then Mr. Clay, then to you, Mr. Jordan.
Ms. Owens, obviously this is a gang up on you. You know, we're giving these witnesses the ability to do a rebuttal on you, and so you know, I find it unfair, Ms. Ballou. I mean, you know, candidly, for you to show mutual respect and then you to go after Ms. Owens is not appropriate. So, Ms. Owens, you can have 4 minutes and 34 seconds to respond. However,
yield for a second?
I'll yield to you.
Thank you. I believe, Ms. Owens, when you used the word hilarious, it was referencing the fact that no one had asked you a question. It wasn't to the subject matter of the hearing. Is that right?
That is correct.
And to have another witness insinuate something that is not accurate is just not appropriate, Mr. Chairman, for how witnesses are supposed to behave in front of this committee. I also think you didn't say it doesn't matter about the subject matter of today's hearing. You said there are other subjects that matter as well, and maybe we should spend some time on those. Is that accurate?
That is correct, and they matter much, 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 much more. And I have said that. I said that in my opening, and I will say it again. You know that white supremacy and white nationalism ranks nowhere near the top of the issues that are facing Black America. And the reason that you are bringing them up in this room is because it is an attempt to make the election all about race as the Democrats.
Not in my case, Ms. Owens. I'm sorry. Please do not characterize my motive.
Mr. Chairman, it's my time.
Yeah,
it's my time.
You've got your time, Mr. Meadows. You have 3 more seconds.
Every 4 years, you bring up race, and you knew exactly what I meant when I said hilarious, and you just tried to do live what the media does all the time to Republicans, to our president, and to conservatives, but you tried to manipulate what I said to fit your narrative, okay? I was not referring to the subject matter that is hilarious. I said it's hilarious that we are sitting in this room today, and I've got 2 doctors and a missus, and nobody can give us real numbers that we can respond to so we can assess how big of a threat this is. Because you know that it is not as big of a threat as you are trying to make it out to be, so you can manipulate. And the audacity of you to bring up the Christchurch shooting manifesto and make it seem as if I laughed at people that were slaughtered by a homicidal maniac is, in my opinion, absolutely despicable. And I think that we should be above that. To try to assign reality or any meaning to a homicidal maniac writing a manifesto, which, by the way, let the record show, also stated Spyro the Dragon, the child's cartoon, as a source of inspiration. He also cited Nelson Mandela as a source of information. I don't think that Nelson Mandela has inspired mosque shootings. You can correct me if you think I'm wrong. You would rather assign meaning to a homicidal maniac than to actually address the things that I said today that are actually harming Black America. Number 1, father absence. Number 2, the education system and the illiteracy rate. Illegal immigration ranks high, abortion ranks high, white supremacy and white nationalism, if I had to make a list again of 100 things, would not be on it. This hearing, in my opinion, is a farce. And it is ironic that you're sitting here and you're having 3 Caucasian people testify and tell you what their expertise are. Do I know what my expertise are? Black in America. I've been Black in America my whole life, all 30 years. And I can tell you that you guys have done the exact same thing every 4 years ahead of an election cycle, and it needs to stop.
This is the thing, you guys. What everybody needs to understand at this point is, let me just cancel that and go to that, and then right. So this is the thing. This is what everybody needs to understand, right? So they did just about the same thing. As far as media tactics go and leftist tactics go, they did the same thing back in 2016. The same thing. Pit race against race. They pit religion against religion. They pit social class against social class. getting this by now. I can't imagine that the majority of the public aren't understanding this. Because it beg a belief if you're not. The whole thing, I'm just going to say it, the whole thing was never about a pandemic. Alright, there might have been a virus going around, but I can tell you something now that's a fact. It was no worse than flu. Don't care what the numbers say, the numbers are fudged. We had newspapers coming out here in the UK admitting to double tests. So if every patient tested positive, they doubled it. You can Google it, that's true. They're now coming out and telling us that we're going to have a second wave. I mean, look at this. This is a real fucking specific, you guys. Look at this, look at this. The Metro. So it's one of the far left newspapers in the UK, right? Dr. Hilary Jones, he appears on ITV, Good Morning Britain quite often. Dr. Hilary Jones warns of a second wave of coronavirus could happen in 2 weeks. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that real fucking specific? I mean, it is, isn't it? That's specific. Yeah? And then I want to show you guys something. Sorry, I left the camera up. Let me tack it down and show you that article again so that you can just see this. Look, for God's sake. Dr. Hilary Jones warns second wave of coronavirus could happen in 2 weeks. And look there, there's the video there on about when he's on Good Morning Britain. Now, I just want to show you guys something that I received this morning. And I'm not the only one in the UK. Right, so a letter that I received, yeah, and it's from the NHS. Now, I'm just going to cover up names and address, but you can see, there you go, it's from the NHS, okay? And I fold that bit down because I want to show you something. Do you see that? Wave 2. Wave 2. And the date on this is the 12th of June 2020. Are they that stupid, or are they rubbing this in our faces? They're literally wanting parents to agree, voluntarily albeit, to allow their kids to be tested on as guinea pigs. Let me read this. We're writing to invite you and your child to take part in an important study to measure blah, blah, blah. The study will help the government work out how many people have COVID-19. The test may show whether your child currently has the COVID-19 virus. Your child has been chosen at random and participation is completely voluntary. The test involves a swab of your child's nose and throat. Fuck no. Fuck no. I'm really annoyed by this. Real fucking annoyed anyway. I'm going to have to continue. Don't want it that small. There we go. So, moving along. A meme that we found coming out of Seattle. Picture of Seattle with a bleeding barricade there. Seattle protesters take over entire neighbourhood after police vacate. First thing they do is build a fucking wall. Now, when the videos were uploaded today of me and Star-Lord's discussion, watch it and pay attention because we actually explain the wall phenomenon. The TDS surrounding the wall. We explain it, so it's worth watching it, okay? At this point, this isn't about anybody fighting or arguing with each other, okay? It's not. Our fight is not with the people. Our fight is with the fake news, namely. But our fight with the fake news is over the public mindset, what goes on up here. And the problem is, a hell of a lot of people have been brainwashed. So believe me, right? I'm not insulting. If you're on the other side of this, to me, I'm not insulting you. I'm not calling you out. I'm not wanting to argue with you. If I'm perfectly honest, I don't even think I care less about debates at this stage. Because, you know, the facts are the facts. What I would like is just to plant seeds and watch them grow. I would like people who even are on the other side of this to just take consideration of what we're saying. I'm not on the far right. I'm not on the far left. I'm relatively central. I'm dealing out a lot of facts here. I'm not the only one. Like I say, I've got this video coming out with Star Lourdes. And nobody who's doing what I'm doing, whether it be on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, nobody really, I mean, yeah, you get the odd like few that are dickheads, but nobody really wants to be completely arguing. We actually want you guys who are on the other side of this, who really have been manipulated, to just take a step back and think, what if they're right? What if they're right? What if we have been manipulated? What if we have been lied to? Is it possible? Yeah. It's been done before. You only have to look at Nazi Germany to understand how it was done before. Propaganda and Joseph Goebbels. I ain't nobody's enemy. If anything, I'm here to help. And if you're watching this, any videos like this, and you just need to, you're curious. Let's just put it like that. If you're curious, don't have to be a Trump supporter. Nobody does. To see the facts. If you're curious, you need some help, email me. I'll send you all the resources I've got. Or go research for yourself. I think that's the best thing that I can say to anyone is look at this stuff for yourself. Think for yourself. Stop thinking that everything the news tells you must be right. Parts of it are, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes they do come out with the truth, but again, it's usually to fit their narrative. It's usually all because they've been backed into a corner and they can't deny it. You know, I think really the key to this is the first stage of this, and bear in mind, I went through this 3 years ago. The first stage of this is actually accepting that you may have been brainwashed, that you may have been manipulated, that your entire thought processes and behaviour have been manipulated. That's the first stage, and it's an uncomfortable stage, but believe me, that's that red pill moment that everybody speaks about. Once you've gone through that, it's relatively easy from there on out. And I've got an argument for everybody who calls what we do and what we research propaganda. Yeah? Propaganda brainwashes the masses. We're not the masses. Just want you to think about that. Just want you to think about it. Yeah? And as far as conspiracy theory goes, well, the term was actually made up by the CIA to stop people looking into their wrongdoings. And it's like the word racism or racist. It gets thrown around so friggin' easily that the whole word loses all meaning. I'm just going to say it. Anyway, moving on. So, right. Judical Watch. This is from Judical Watch, okay? Follow them on Twitter, follow them on Facebook. Corruption Chronicles, because no one's above the law. Most of Facebook's censorship board has ties to left-wing billionaire George Soros. Now, this guy's got his hands in everything. And I mean everything. There isn't anything he ain't got his friggin' hands into. Anyway, I just want you to hear what Judical Watch has said about this, okay? The recently appointed Facebook Oversight Board that will decide which post gets blocked from the world's most popular social networking website is stacked with with leftists, including a close friend of left-wing billionaire George Soros, who served on the board of directors of his Open Society Foundations. Judical Watch conducted a deep dive into the new panel that will make content rulings for the technology company that was slammed last year with a $5 billion fine For privacy violations, the information uncovered by Judicial Watch shows that the group of 20 is overwhelmingly leftist. You know, I mean, I would even argue far left or extreme left. And likely to restrict conservative views. More than half of the members have ties to Soros, the philanthropist who dedicates huge sums to spreading a radical left agenda that includes targeting conservative politicians. Other Facebook oversight board members have publicly expressed their disdain for President Donald Trump or made political contributions to top Democrats such as Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and Elizabeth Warren. As one New York newspaper editorial determined this month, the new Facebook board is a recipe for left-wing censorship. Right. Does this go down any further? There we go. So, the thing is, George Soros got his hands on a lot of dirty crap, okay? You know, if you actually look at it, because that's the thing, nobody seems to know where to look for the umbrella companies. So, first protocol, research his foundations, the OSF foundations, and then research where funding goes from those OSF foundations, and then that's where you see all the organisations and groups that are funded and controlled. Because don't forget, anybody can argue that, oh, a group's not controlled. Like, for example, BLM or Antifa, you can argue they're not controlled all you want to your heart's extent. But if you are being funded, you are being controlled. It's as simple as that. There's no two ways about it. So when you're looking at bad behaviour, bad attitudes, manipulation, you know, a lot of control, heavy control. Again, this guy has had an agenda for years. I mean, all you have to do is look up the quotes that he's put out over the years to get a picture of what his plans are. And he's been very open about wanting to destroy Americans, their economy, their constitution. He's been very open about this. Thing is, the virus that's the most dangerous at the moment and has been for a long time is George Soros. He's got a nasty habit of going into countries, fiddling around with corporate stuff, corporate finances, corporate policies, messing them all around, lobbying governments to force his, you know, like I say, corrupt policies into place. So when you actually start to see a lot of division, a lot of contradictions, a lot of illegal immigration, you know, where governments don't actually do that much to prevent it, you can thank George Soros for that because he's lobbied them. Okay? Right. Moving on. Exclusive. Black Lives Matter website, defund the police, donations go to Act Blue. The Biden for President campaign's top source of donations. Now, Candace Owens, if you actually go to her Facebook or her Twitter, she's actually posted a hell of a lot of proof on this, okay? I mean solid proof. Literally, like, you know, if you go to the Black Lives Matter donations website, it actually blatantly says, not only in the website code, it also says it at the bottom in the information, Act Blue basically control these donations. And then when you go and have a look at what Act Blue actually is, it is a democratic donation managing platform. I mean, it's in the name, Act Blue. It's in the name. Okay? Keep saying this, you guys. This was not about the friggin' virus. This was not about the protests. This was not about George Floyd. If anything, I actually severely suspect that because there's been a lot of stuff going around, and I'm just going to I'm not going to tell you what's truth or not. However, the thing with George Floyd is a bit suspicious because he actually had a twin come out, and before this, nobody ever spoke about him having a twin, and yet apparently this twin of his released a video on YouTube, and his name was Stephen Jackson. You can go look it up yourself. Yeah, we in about a few days to a week of Floyd dying. I mean, if that's not suspicious, you know, considering. I'm not saying that is Floyd, but I am saying I wouldn't be surprised if it was. I'm just saying it. Yeah? And not just that, when you actually look at the images of the incident itself, it don't add up. And then again, there's a lot of videos on YouTube that show the footage that scrutinise it. You know, I mean, for crying out loud, the licence plate on the police car actually read police. I don't know many police forces that actually put the word police on their licence plates. You know, it's usually coded numbers so that you can identify the vehicle on the licence plate. So that was a red flag in its own. And secondly, there was a hell of a lot of footage coming out of people who were filming the incident from the curb, and there were also videos from the middle of the road. And for one, the images that were taken from the curb, there was no cameraman in the middle of the road, and vice versa. The images taken in the middle of the road, there was no cameraman on the sidewalk. There was nobody there screaming and shouting. So, again, and the full angles were shown in these videos. So, again, it doesn't add up. And then you look at Derek Chauvin. For one, the guy in the video looks nothing like Derek Chauvin. I mean, we did some clever, very smart people did close-ups of the ears. They weren't the same. You know, and then people started finding scenes from Crises, and it links to Crises actors where this guy's particular cop, Derek Chauvin, had actually been in. You know, from like the Boston Marathon and things like that. The cops were there. And it just looked suspicious. But like I say, it's better off that you guys see the stuff for yourself. I did actually put a B-roll image over the video that I did with Star-Lordus about that in particular. So it's worth sort of taking note. But I'm just sort of saying none of it adds up. None of it adds up. And if anything, I think that these riots, fair enough, a lot of people peacefully protested it. That's fair enough. Not taking anything away from that. You know, if there's a problem, protest and make a difference. However, the riots and the violence, that's definitely Antifa, you know, and unfortunately a huge margin of BLM. It is. And, you know, a lot of people are really going to struggle to come to terms with that, and it breaks my heart that good causes are being infiltrated by bad actors. I'm just going to say it. It breaks my heart, because there was a window of opportunity to really do some good with this situation, to really get police reform, police training, you know, to actually combat this kind of thing. Because believe it or not, but defunding the police ain't going to do fucking shit. Ain't going to do fucking shit. And this riot here behind me has proved that, because it was the police that were protecting BLM and Antifa. Yes, go watch it on RT. The police defended and protected BLM and Antifa from the football thugs, because there was probably about 6,000 football thugs versus about 1,000 BLM and Antifa thugs. I'm not kidding. So yeah, defunding the police. If that had happened, those rioters, they'd be pushing up daisies by now. It's a complete farce, the entire thing. You remove law and order, makes Trump look bad. You have riots and shit going on, makes Trump look bad. You know, you have a pandemic that ruins the economy, makes Trump look bad. Orange bomb bad. Do you guys not realise how fucking ridiculous this entire thing is? I really want people to wake up at this point, and I'm getting really passionate about it, because, I mean, Q's setting a drop. Only at the precipice of self-destruction will people find the will to change. And I am gutted that it may just have to come to that. I'm just saying it. I'm gutted that it may have to come to that. I wish people would wake up. I really do. Anyway, moving on. So this is one of the key drops that I really wanted to point out to you guys. It says here, will Democrats push a second COVID-19 wave due to protest riots to keep the mail-in voting narrative going? Yes, they will. Attempting to establish a new narrative, riots creating second COVID-19 wave, ? Loss of control with the first wave. Well, yeah, there was a loss of control because everybody started seeing discrepancies. The CDC and the WHO were contradicting each other. The CDC, you know, and well, put it like this: the WHO was telling everybody that it spreads on surfaces, that atypicals can spread it. Hence the lockdown. The entire lockdown was brought about because they said people with atypical symptoms, i.e. somebody who has it but actually doesn't realise they've got it and doesn't have many symptoms, they were saying they can spread it, and that was the reason for the lockdown. That is why they quarantined healthy people. Yeah? Now, they're coming out and saying the CDC released a statement, you can Google this, say atypical people, it's rare for them to spread it. The WHO, sorry, came out and said this. Atypical people, it's rare for them to spread it. But then Facebook fact checkers jumped on it and started calling it false and this, that and the other. And the next thing we know, we've got this big sort of rift going on between Facebook and CNBC, because Facebook actually called out the article from CNBC about atypical symptoms. They actually called it fake news. I shit you not, you guys. I mean, that for me, that was a popcorn moment. I sat there watching this with my popcorn. This was hilarious, okay? Facebook, it was like the left versus the left for the first time in God knows how many years. This was Facebook calling out CNBC as fake news. I couldn't fucking believe it. This was hilarious. Anyway, moving on. Everybody lost control. So basically, accused writing that dropped, loss of control with the first wave. Everybody started noticing these discrepancies and realising that it was bullshit and that we were being lied to. And then Tucker Carlson released a video on YouTube, Fox News, actually saying they have been lying to us and we've got the proof. So, of course, they're going to try and push a second wave. And the next wave is going to be so much more dangerous, so many more... I mean... Forget double counting the tests next time. They're going to start double counting the deaths. Okay? And again, anybody can argue this, but it's true. Okay? The majority of people who die from COVID-19, it is not the primary cause of death. They have severe underlying issues that probably would have killed them anyway. You know. So I just want people to actually start understanding that and get the head out the sand at this point, because shit's about to get serious. I'm going to tell you why in a bit. Regain control necessary regarding vote by mail, Democrats state bailouts, economy, unemployment, kill, etc. So really what Q's sort of saying there is, look, they are going to try and regain control whatever the cost. Whether people die, whether people commit, you know, a lot of people over this have committed suicide, which is very sad because they believe this bullshit so much, you know, and it makes people miserable. Trust me, on this side of the fence, it ain't miserable. If anything, it's exciting. I'm watching a movie playing out and I'm enjoying a shitload of popcorn while I'm at it, just saying. You know, the economy, unemployment, they're going to try and kill the economy. They are going to try and increase unemployment, okay? Because this makes Orange Man look bad. Because they're blaming for everything. And they have done for, you know, since 2016. Absolutely everything can't be the guy's fault. I mean, don't forget, a lot of these Democrats that are screaming this have been in power for 30 plus years. And did absolute sweet fuck all for any of your communities. If anything, they made you more oppressed. And then you have to think, well, they're really showing the true colours now because, you know, in your constitution, it speaks of freedom of speech. It speaks about not you know, in, I suppose, our terms, not censoring people for their views, not penalising people for their views and their beliefs. I think that's what the entire constitution was based on. Freedom, okay? And now you've got a shitload of the leftists coming out and actually making serious attempts to defund, deplatform and silence a hell of a lot of, you know, not just conservative voters and voices, but also factualist voices. I consider myself a factualist voice. And it's people like us that are really being heavily censored, and it's not by the right. It's not by the centre. It's by the left. Okay, so then you have to start thinking really closely about where your allegiances lie. You know, and don't come to me with the bullshit that the Republicans and the right are racist. the Democrat presidential candidate said not the week before George Floyd's death, because all this makes sense. Listen to this. All this makes sense. So the week before George Floyd's death, Joe Biden were on the Breakfast Club. And again, you can YouTube this. He actually said, if you got troubles choosing between me and Trump, you ain't black. He literally told black Americans the colour of their skin determines the way they should vote. If that doesn't make you feel sick and disgusted. And then lo and behold, the week later, George Floyd's death, lo and behold, the media push, and instigate violence, riots, protests, outrage. And all of a sudden, Joe Biden's ratings are back up. And then you've got the fucking divvy Democrats, right, wearing African attire, which is an insult to the African community, if you ask me, because they're the ones that caused all this. Wearing African attire, kneeling in solidarity after causing it. So basically, what I'm telling you all is they caused it. And then they purposely made themselves look like the saviour. You're being manipulated. You're being manipulated. All assets deployed, of course they fucking are. And this is going to get a hell of a lot worse. I'm just warning you all now. The riots are going to get worse. You know, something today, there's something very specific about today. Because Hillary, Biden, a lot of the leftist Democrats have been mentioning the 13th a hell of a lot. And then lo and behold, you've got this going on behind me. You know, the riots in London, and we're sort of waiting for some sort of news to come out of the USA about something big actually going down, unless it literally is this. And the thing is, it makes me think maybe it is this, because the Queen's having her birthday commemorations at Windsor Castle today, and that is blanket covering the news. See what I mean about you being manipulated? The news is blanket covering the Queen's commemorations here in the UK. There is one broadcasting channel that's actually showing this stuff, and that's RT Rutley. That's it. That is it. No other news channel. And do you know what's funny about it? There's only one news channel broadcasting this, and I've seen probably 20-25 cameramen in these riots, and that tells you that yes, the mainstream news are there filming, but they are not filming live because they don't want to show the truth. What they're going to do is cherry pick scenes that make the footy lads look absolutely awful. That's what they're going to do. They're going to paint the picture of Antifa and B&M looking good and behaving, and yet they're the ones that have been firing fucking projectiles, right, and trying to get at the cenotaph, trying to get at the monuments to deface them, and the footy lads are surrounding these monuments, stopping them doing that. So, you know, I'm not being funny. In fact, I am being funny. Fuck it. I'm telling it as it is, right? The mainstream media are going to show you all fake, cherry-picked bullshit on this, okay? Win by any means necessary. 2020 presidential election. I mean, it says it all right there. It really, really does, okay? Now we've got this from News Punch. First Democrat official tied to elite pedophile ring pleads guilty. I told you all months ago, yeah, that we are going to start seeing officials going down for heinous crimes. Yeah, it's starting. I'm just showing you all that it's actually starting. What I said is actually happening. So, former Mayor Hubbard of Ohio, Richard Keenan, has admitted in court to raping a young child as President Trump's urgent investigation into elite pedophile ring. Now, listen, when Trump came out and did these executive orders, when Trump came out and told you he was tackling trafficking and elite pedophile rings, right? Stop taking this with a pinch of salt. He is being deadly serious, and this is the first proof of it, okay? I just want you guys to see this and how disgusting this is. Keenan previously, I'm struggling to say it, but I've got to say it. Everyone needs to know the truth. Keenan previously blamed the 4-year-old victim, 4-year-old victim, for initiating the acts. It gets me so upset, you guys. And like I keep telling you all, the amount of times I've sat here after the shit I've been reading and seeing that's true. Sat in my head and I was praying to a God that a year ago I didn't necessarily friggin' believe in. And I've been praying and praying fucking hard. Listen to me. I'll just turn that off. It's calm. Just hear me out. I really want everybody to go to qmap.pub. You want to know where we're getting the information from? Go to qmap.pub. Everybody's calling it a fucking conspiracy. Because they're manipulating you. Because Q is leading us to the truth. It's not a cult. It's not brainwashing. It can't be. So everything that Q told us a year ago is starting to happen. It's starting to happen. I'm starting to see it. Q told us a year ago there were going to be riots, and racial tensions, racial wars, and all this, that, and the other. It's happening. They told us that we're going to start seeing arrests of elite pedophiles going down, and rings, trafficking rings, drug rings. It's happening. It's happening globally, you guys. It's like a global reset going on. And like I say, if you watch the video between me and Star, she lets you know her journey. And things that I told her a year ago that are happening now, such as a global reset. You can't take on the world's problems while there is so much public division. The aim is to make sure that every man, woman and child is safe throughout the process. And when we're being warned that all assets are deployed, what that means is a lot of the left and the Democrats and the EU, this isn't just about the Democrats, this is about the EU. All these puppets are going to put a hell of a lot of people in serious danger. And the Alliance is doing everything in their power to stop that. The police, the military, they're on your side. Back them with everything that you've got. Because they are going to be the ones on the front line of all of this, just like what's going on behind me. I need to carry on. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm trying to keep this about, you know, facts and with a straight face, but some of this stuff just really, really hurts and gets to me. Black Lives Matter protester test positive for coronavirus after the rally of 10,000. Now that is, again, it's planned. Think pandemic. This is them basically. This was all planned from the start. The first wave lost momentum. Everybody started seeing discrepancies. So if they're going to try and bring about a second wave, this is how they're going to do it. And what really hurts, and this, I mean, I cried over this. I'm just going to let you know now, I cried over this because this was just so heartbreaking. So don't get me wrong, I think there is a virus out there. I just don't think that it's pandemic worthy. It can't be with a 98% survival rate. So again, if this virus was real, and remember the CDC and all our health organisations saying it tends to affect the black community more, like they're more at risk of not only catching it but dying if they get it. Yeah? And then all these media outlets who reported that are sending the black community into the lion's den with these riots. Are you guys seeing this for what it really is yet? Because if it weren't for the news, if it weren't for the media, none of you guys would have put your cent in harm's way. Let's be honest. By participating in any protest, whether they be peaceful or violent, it doesn't matter. I think there is a virus. I'm just not buying that it's that serious. However, for them to say that yes, it is serious, and that yes, the black community are more at risk of catching it and dying from it, and then they're instigating you lot to go and protest without social distancing. Nobody's stopping you. Nobody coming in to say, well, go home because you're at risk here. Nobody doing that. If people aren't angry by now, they should be. Right, moving on. This, again, this is something that we were told that we were going to start seeing leaders, officials dropping like flies. Again, we're seeing the start of this. We're seeing the start of all of this now. So yeah, let me scroll down. There we go. Emmanuel Macron denies offering to resign despite Elysée saying nothing off the table. So basically, Emmanuel Macron has reportedly offered to resign as France's president, yeah? In a bit, so they were going to have a new election. Now, they're sort of backtracking on that. Believe me when I say this, you guys, he did. He did. He did offer to resign. And the reason why he did it is because of the Gilets Jaunes protests, the Yellow Vests. And I just want to, ignoring this bit for one moment, I just want to highlight that, you know, if he does resign, which we suspect he will pretty shortly, we know exactly who's going to win the next election. Marine Le Pen. She is the opposition leader, and this lady is an amazing lady. A lot of Brits back Marine Le Pen, and the Gilets Jaunes, in the entire lot of them, all back Marine Le Pen. And she is a patriot. She's not a nationalist. She's a patriot. Despite what the lying fake news tells you, she loves her country and she loves her people, and she's going to be the one to win it. So again, the reason why they're backtracking on this with Emmanuel Macron is because they know this. It was a slip of the tongue that he's going to resign. I've got no doubt he will. But that just gets the public, basically, because it was the slip of the tongue, the whole French public are now able to start promoting Marine Le Pen. And that's what they didn't want. The leftists in France didn't want that, because they know that if Marine Le Pen gets enough traction, she will win it, and they're going to do everything that they can to stop that. However, I don't really think there is much that can stop what's coming. Q's come out a few times and said, look, nothing can stop what's coming. The snowball started rolling. So, again, it's a situation, it's basically the situation we're in now is we need to get every single member of the public woke. We need to get every single member of the public seeing this shit for what it really is. Okay? And guess what? All is in your control, all is in your power. Yeah? Because the barrier between them and getting the truth is the news. So you'll turn it off. Turn off your CNN, fake. Turn off MSNBC, fake. Turn off CBNC, fake. Turn off BBC, ITV, Sky News, fake. I would even go as far as to limit what you watch on Fox News. The patriots that are worth following from Fox News, obviously Judge Janine, Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, and a couple of others. But yeah, even limit what you watch on Fox News, because they keep bringing Donna Brazile on. We all know what she fucking did. She committed election fraud, and yet she's still in place. Again, something came out last week. Trump put out a tweet, and then we backed it up with the articles that he has put new federal judges in place. So just about every federal judge that was in place for 2016 has been replaced. And the reason why this was done, and what everybody's going to understand in the run-up to November, is that the reason why this is done is because you cannot put corrupt individuals in front of corrupt judges. Because that's how we end up with the plea deal like Jeffrey Epstein fucking got. I'm just saying it. It's time to wake up, everyone. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. We're seeing stuff happening now. We're seeing stuff getting a little bit out of control. Divided, you're weak. United and together, you are so much stronger than you will ever imagine. Deplatform the news because they are the enemy of the people. And we know that because they've been out here not filming live and just filming segments so that they can cherry pick what makes one side look worse than the other. If that isn't a divisive tactic, I don't know what is. If that's not manipulation, I don't know what is. Come on, you guys, it's time. It's time. Anyway, take care, speak soon.